Stakeholders call for inclusive electoral process ahead of the country's general elections next year. Governor Dola calls on displaced persons at Malakal POC to embrace peace and unity. And Young Community Peace Conference in Lake State identifies inadequate infrastructure as key challenges. Good afternoon and welcome to SSBC News at 1. I am Duku Wilson with the news in detail. Stakeholders to the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan are calling for an inclusive electoral process ahead of the 2026 general elections. Representatives from civil society, women's and youth groups, the business community and academia raised these concerns during a meeting with SPLM Secretary General Dr. Akol Paul Kordit in Juba on Saturday. In a statement after the meeting, team leader Edmond Yakani reaffirmed that elections should be held as scheduled and urged the National Elections Commission to uphold the 35% quota for women and ensure meaningful youth participation. He also called for a code of conduct for political actors and a national political framework to safeguard key provisions of the peace agreement during the campaign period.
The other thing we have raised it very clear that NEC have declared the use of 2010 election constituencies. We insisted that the affirmative action of minimum of 35% for women should be the formula to be used during the proportional representation, but also we have brought to the attention the question of youth, but also we want to see that elections are inclusive elections without excluding anybody outside, and we have agreed that code of conduct is very essential to guide the election so that we can hold politicians accountable, because we don't want to see this election return the country back to war. The other thing we have agreed is that before the holding of the elections, we need to reach to a national political framework where the parties will commit themselves to deliver the articles that are ensuring the other access that are very important. For instance, Article 8.4, 8.3, that these articles, we don't want them to be undermined by the parties. They should still remain as relevant, but their relevance should be enshrined in South Sudan political framework. That wish should be developed and signed by the parties, agreed upon by the parties and the stakeholders before 22nd June 2026.
In Lake State, the Young Community Peace Conference is ongoing with a focus on infrastructure development and improving health and education services in rural areas. SSBC's Media Tong reports.
The conference aimed to promote community development and strengthen socio-economic activities through agriculture and small businesses, and prioritize girls' education. Addressing participants at Adol Primary School, SPLM Senior Political Affairs member Daniel Awenakut urged the young community to embrace dialogue and reject violence.
My dear people of Young, whom I came to, why I'm standing here? I'm standing for peace and reconciliation for the people of South Sudan. We fought the war. The war has gone. Now it is the time to sit down and understand, to resolve all our problems through sitting, not through barrel of the gun. It's through sitting. That's why I'm here to proceed to advance, so that I talk with my people to refrain from bad act of killing one another.
Meanwhile, Dr. Kuyok Abol Kuyok, the National Minister of General Education and Instruction, emphasized the importance of education as foundation for sustainable development. Let's come together to support Governor Rintwing for the peace in the country. All these things that you need are important. Education, health center, they are most important things when all of us cooperate. Community members also raised concern over challenges facing rural areas. Jarchen Malok cited long distance to water sources and the lack of health facilities in villages such as Jarwo, Maniak, Amenedol, and Rurnum. We don't have water facilities, like hand pump. We walk long distance to fetch water. We request the government to bring school clothes. Elders representative Dom Coach Mabor highlighted poor road networks and the shortage of schools in many parts of Rumbek Center County. We have Mading, Maniak, and Jariao. Even education, only this school, people come all the way from other areas to come to this only adult primary school for education.
The
punishment acknowledge improved security and peace in Lake State since the appointment of Lin as governor of Lake State, but the development remains slow due to the country's economic challenges. Reporting for SBC, Mary Atom.
The Kimindogo community has installed Farid Adam as chief and Paul Hassan Dafa as deputy chief of the community in Juba. At the function in Juba, representatives from various communities in Western Bahr el Ghazal state graced the program with colorful cultural displays. Dorwal Dorjok attended the event and filed the following report.
Baya Development Association fixes a program for installing Kimindogo Community Chief and Deputy Chief in Juba. The function on Friday brought together representatives from the various communities of Western Bahr el Ghazal State living in Juba. Addressing the gathering, Rizq Zakaria Hassan, National Minister of Transport, lends full weight to the people of Western Bahr el Ghazal State in their development schemes at the state and administrative levels. He also pledges to provide employment opportunities for national youth.
وانا بحيي كل الناس اللي اتكلموا وانا بقول حقيقه في طفره نوعيه في الشكليه بتاعت الخطابات بتاعتنا هنا. انا جاي اشارك في الاحتفال ده وعندي فهم معين في راسي انه نحن في وحدتنا بتصل قوتنا.
Sarah Letorial, National Minister of Health, also offers support to the program Visualist to ignite renaissance and development in the state. She appreciates the program for its contribution in activating of this occasion to activating the part of traditional governance while focusing on national development initiatives.
مبروك لكم. ده يمكن تاني مرة أنا أحضر وأنا بشكركم وده البرنامج زي ده المفروض يكون توالي. أنا بشكركم أنتم متمسكين به ونتمنى كمان كل قبائلنا بالذات قبائل بتاعنا في غرب بحر الغزال يقوموا بنفس البرنامج. فده تمسك كويس بتاع المجتمع إنه نجيبوا المجتمع كله الأسر والعيال ويجوا يكون في برنامج ثقافي برنامج اجتماعي وده الحاجة اللي بيجيب ترابط بيناتنا.
Chief Farid Adam Ali and Paul Hassan Nadafa expresses their delight with the people's choice and promise to deliver on the trust endowed in them to represent and serve the people of Western Bahr el Ghazal State.
تم تعيين بتاع فريد كوكيل بتاع قوايا في جوبا هنا ونحن بنديه احترام كافي كرمز القبيله بتاعنا ده تراث القبيله اللي انتم شايفينه معناته ده رمز القبيله بتاعنا وهو بيهيل بعض المشاكل مشاكل اسريه ما مشاكل بتاع الجنائيه هو بيهيل مشاكل اسريه فكل المشاكل بتاع الاسريه نحن بديه لفريد وهو نحترمه احترام كرئيس القبيله بتاعتنا.
الليله اليوم يوم بتاع عيد وفرحه يعني ما يوم بتاع كلام لانه انا ما هقدر اعبر عن كلام. الفرحه الفيني فرحه شديده وفي ناس أنا طولت ما لقيتهم طبعا يعني. الليلة اليوم ربنا جمعنا ونتمنى للناس أن يفرحوا كلنا سوا وربنا يوصلهم بيوتهم بالسلامة، وإن شاء الله بنتلاقى في زمن تاني، زمن يكون واسع للكلام.
This installation of traditional leaders is a pivot for the people of Western Bahr Ghazal state to rally together to activate and advance the development programs in the state. Dorwal Dorjok, SSBC.
The governor of Upper Nile State, Jacob Dola Roth, has called on displaced persons at the UN Protection of Civilians site in Malakal to embrace the spirit of peace, unity and reconciliation. He made the remarks during his visit to the camp to offer Christmas greetings to the citizens. This report by Hafiz Jabal Mohammed is voiced by Mario Suleiman.
The state government visit is a crucial window for fostering unity, hope, and sharing humanity, creating a space for reflections, community healing, and interfaith dialogue. During his meeting with camp's leaders, Governor Jacob Dola Roth affirms the state government commitment to maintaining fairness among all citizens in the state. He urged the IDPs to embrace the spirit of peace, unity, and peaceful coexistence for the state's stability.
The year 2025-2026 is the year of peace and hope. And the Malakal is peaceful. As you can witness, the government of the state decided to celebrate the Christmas with the family and friends who are resident in POC. This is the main purpose that we came today, and we share some few words, a word of encouragement, a word of unity, a word of love, and a word of forgiveness. As the governor, the security in Malakal will be secure and will be 100% for you. The government will be able to provide the security. And the rest of the services that you need from the government, as we start the new year, 2026, we will be able to put the measures in order to provide the services that you all need from us.
Meanwhile, the head of the UN Civilian Protection Sites in Malakal, Zakaria Deng Awet, describes the governor's visit as a positive indicator towards building trust between the IDPs and beyond the state government.
ده حاجة عظيمة جدا. ده بيبني ثقة كبيرة بين المواطنين الموجودين في داخل البيوس بحكومة بتاع الولاية. يعني احنا شعورنا بانه نحن قاعدين مع حكومة بتاعنا في ولاية، ما قاعدين زي نحن معزولين في مع الأمم المتحدة.
On her part, the representative of the women at the UN Civilian Protection Sites, Marina Jones Scholl, calls upon the state government to promote security stability in order to encourage IDPs return to their previous homes.
زيارة بتاع ساعة الحاكم حسسنا جميعا أن إحنا جزء لا يتجزأ من ملكال المدينة. تاني حاجة لنا دايروا من سياسيين ما يزرعوا القبلية، خليهم يشتغلوا في وحدة بتاعت أبناء بتاع النيل، خليهم يشتغلوا في تعمير مؤسسات الحكومية، خليهم هم يشتغلوا في خدمات اللي بخلي المواطن يرجع، يوفروا لنا موية، يوفروا لنا النور عشان زول يعرف محل الكراو، والباقي خلوه علينا أن إحنا بنقدر نزرع.
Despite risk of broken peace and cultural fabric due to violence, the visit is a strategic peace-building gesture serving as a powerful cultural moment to recommit to development, rebuild trust, and predict a peaceful future. For SSBC News, Mario Suleiman.
Poaching poses a significant threat to Nimule National Park, endangering wildlife species despite ongoing efforts to combat it. This has compelled wildlife conservation authorities and the Nimule municipality to conduct an aerial survey to assess the situation. Emmanuel Duko has more in this report.
Nimule National Park is one of the greatest national parks in the country that has a great ecosystem and can attract investors. The park warden of Nimule National Park, Brigadier General Zakaria Oborak, said the ministry has a law that governs the park. He appealed to citizens to protect their natural resources.
South Sudan is very rich. It has a lot of potentials but those potentials are facing a lot of threats. Those threats is easy to overcome it. We came together to protect the natural habitat and the biodiversity that we have. Then this, when we protect it properly, it will bring us a lot of tourism that can boost our livelihood improvement and the development that we are looking for.
Cesar Longafuli, the mayor of Nimule municipality, says the number of poachers is increasing. Fully appealed to the authority of Ministry of Wildlife to address the matter.
I call upon the Ministry of Wildlife to come upon with a plan of how to manage this park, because it's under the national government, and we need to get a solution to this problem. We need to encourage tourism in this municipality.
Dr. Mike Faith, African Parks Network Landscape Coordinator, said the park needs to be managed properly for investors to invest in tourism in South Sudan.
But this wildlife potential is going down. People are poaching. Lots of the antelope are being killed, the elephants are being killed. So if we want to have tourism in Nimule, this park is extremely important. And so we need to start managing the park properly so that the wildlife populations will increase. Because if tourists come to Nimule, they want to see wildlife.
It is to be noticed that Nimule National Park is a home to many wildlife species, especially elephants, hippos, Nile crocodiles, and deers. Nimule National Park is under JEF6 project, which is run by the two Ministries of Wildlife and Environment. Emmanuel Duku, SSBC, Nimule.
It's time to take a quick break. Please stay with us. We are back in a moment with more stories. Welcome back from that short break. I am Duku Wilson and you are watching SSBC News at 1. Moving on, as Christians celebrated Christmas on Thursday, several branches of the Presbyterian Church across Juba marked the occasion with clear messages of peace, unity and reconciliation among all South Sudanese. SSBC's Peter Mori has more in the following roundup report.
Several branches of the Presbyterian churches in Juba marked Christmas with joy, echoing messages of hope, peace and unity in the country. The Evangelical Presbyterian Church of the Nuer in Jebel celebrated the feast of Christ with calls for peace and reconciliation among South Sudanese. Thomas Dutpot, the moderator of the church, called upon the people of South Sudan to engage in dialogue to resolve their differences. David William Tut, a believer in the church, called on all Christian community to work for peace and reconciliation.
الكتاب المقدس بيقول طوبى لصانعي السلام لأنهم أبناء الله يدعون. الكنيسة الإنجيلية المشيخية في أطلع برا بتدعو شعب جنوب السودان إنه يحتضن السلام. السلام اللي بيجيب الاستقرار، السلام الذي يأتي بالأمن، السلام الذي
كده دي الرمز اللي ولدوه محل الوسخ، ولدوه في محل المنظيف، محل الأكل، فمسي قدر ولدوه محل الوسكان دي ليه؟ عشان بيطلع لنا من الخطية، عشان بيحررنا نحن الحيين دي، عشان يخلصنا، عشان نجيب خلاص.
On the same occasion in Luri, the Evangelical Presbyterian Church believers of Rocky celebrated Christmas on Thursday. Reverend Dengbol Athem urged believers to embrace the importance of working for peace and reconciliation as he called on all to accept Christ in their life.
دامه في قلوبنا حتى فعلا تنعم بلادنا وعلمنا المطعون اللي المريض انه الرب يشفيه ويعطيه سلام الحقيقي.
The former Minister of Transport, Lam Akol Ajawin, describes the current year as a year of peace and stability.
نتمنى انه في مثل هذه الأعياد أن نفكر جديا في حل المشاكل التي تواجه مواطنينا لكي يحتفلوا بسلام وسرور. المشاكل الاقتصادية، مشاكل اللجوء، مشاكل انعدام الضروريات، ليس هناك من شيء لن يستطيع.
جنوب السودان كله هنا عايز لما نستقبل عام جديد عام 2026 يكون ده عام السلام والوهام في كل بلد في كل جنوب السودان. نحن مبسوطين وفرحانين جدا في الحكومة بتاعنا خاصة في الجانب الأمنية إنه بلد مأمن.
The Sudan People's Liberation Movement SPLM Deputy Secretary for Finance and Administration Baba Midan Konyi encouraged South Sudanese to engage in agriculture and businesses as a means of sustaining livelihoods and promoting economic development in the country.
نحن في سنة 26 دايرين الأولوية بتاعتنا إنه نحن نعتمد على الذات، نعتمد على الذات في الزراعة، نعتمد على الذات في الشغل بتاع التجارة إذا كان الاستثمارات الكبيرة أو.
عاوز نشكر ربنا لأجل اليوم المبارك، عاوز نشكر ربنا لليوم العظيم يوم السلام، يوم الولادة الرب يسوع المسيح، وبرضه عاوز
and unity among themselves.
أنا بقول لشعب جنوب السودان عامة كل سنة وأنتم طيبين وتعود الأيام إن شاء الله. فنحن عاوزين الوضع الاقتصادي يصلح، لازم نحن ناخذ صوتنا فوقه ومقدراتنا، وكمان نحن نصلي عشان ربنا يساعدنا ويغير الأحوال عشان يدينا حالة كويسة.
The congregation of St. John at the Chapel of St. Kizito joined the rest of the Christian community in celebrating Christmas. Speaking at the occasion, the representative of the Cholo community, Engineer Lual Chol Dak, encouraged South Sudanese to promote love and peaceful coexistence in the country.
ونحن مبسوطين ان نحتفل ونبارك ونعيد لكل الابناء وبنات جنوب السودان كلها ان كلكم تكونوا بخير، يوم السلام في بلدنا كل شيء يكون بخير. ده الوقت ان احنا محتاجين ندعو فيه لغفران وتصامح ومحبه بين الناس والسلام والامانه. دي رساله المسيح اللي قاعد يعلمنا ان كل مره نقدر نبشر اليوم العظيم ان احنا محتاجين الغفران والتصامح بين الناس، وكل سنه والجميع بالخير ومحبه والسلام.
Hundreds stand out to celebrate Christmas at the Nyakron South congregation of the Presbyterian Church. The moderator of the Presbyterian Church, Reverend Michael, called on communities to embrace peace in order to promote development in the country.
Jubilant worshippers fill churches and prayer centers for Christmas celebration 2025. weary of war and conflicts ripening the country, the people of God pour out their prayers for forgiveness and peace at the Nyakurin South Congregation of Presbyterian Church. Reverend Michael calls for compassion and reconciliation.
My message to all our political parties, our people, to embrace peace, love, forgiveness, and reconciliation. And this is where we will achieve the development and services.
Members of the Church Council and others appeal for social cohesion and peaceful coexistence in the country, especially in these difficult moments of national economic hardships and dwindling donor funding. Messages pouring out from the people of God re-echo the vision of the Church for the new year 2026.
This day is a great day. It is a forgiveness day. It is a peace. It is a peaceful day. It is a unity day. Our King.
خطوة ونتمنى إنه الرئيس وحكومته يمشوا قدام لحد يوم واحد يوفر نفس الأمن للمسيحيين ولناس.
All yearn for consolidating peace and unity and for encouraging each other to clear the way for nation building, progress and prosperity. Mangar Gabriel, SSBC, Juba.
St. Thomas Episcopal Church celebrated Christmas with renewed hope and expectations that peace, security, and stability would prevail in the country. The Assistant Bishop of the Episcopal Church, Jackson George Aripa, said Christmas symbolizes the spirit of togetherness. Meanwhile, the Reverend Father David Batali of the Episcopal Church encouraged believers to be tolerant and to live together in peace.
أنا جوري للمؤمنين كله كان في حاجة حاصل بنادينا في محل واحد نجي في مكان واحد وقلنا دايرين سلام دينا دايرين محبة دينا دايرين وحدة بتاعنا مع بعض. لسانت توماس مكان بتوماس أن بيحتفل إدفوكو طبعا باركوا ولد ده باركوا بنيا بتاعك ده وباركوا بيت ده الجبال لنا تخط فوق ربنا كورين بتاعنا ليكون سلام كليكون محبة وكليكون فرح.
أنا مبسوط شديد لأنه احتفال ده حصل وأكد لنا أنه كنيسة سانت توماس لسه في محله. فقصص هناك ده أنا عايز أكلم منه كليتا مروع قدام. وأنا في معيتكم في الصلوات وفي روح بنجيب معاكم. وأنا عايز ودي شكرا لإدارة الدياسيس في جوبا لأنه من نايمين من كمان شغالين شديد عشان كنايس الفوق إشكالات ده.
You are still watching SSBC News with me, Duku Wilson. If you have just joined us and missed the previous stories, you can watch it on Facebook page, on our page at SSBC TV. Moving on, the Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Yei, Reverend Levi Marandulu Yepete, has added his voice to the call on the people of South Sudan to reconcile and forgive one another. Bishop Levi made the remark during Christmas prayers at Emmanuel Cathedral in Yei River County. The clergyman also emphasizes the need for Christians to turn away from sin and live in harmony. The Commissioner of Yei River County, Emmanuel Taban, encourages communities in the county to embrace peace, love, and unity.
It is unfortunate that we continue to celebrate Christmas while our country is going through a critical moment in its history, economically, socially, and politically. It is my prayer and hope that the government, all opposition forces, and all armed groups will refrain from every form of violence and prioritize inclusive dialogue that will pave the way for lasting peace in this country in the year 2026. We urgently need peace so that development can be realized.
And I've said here before and I want to repeat it today. What is our contribution towards the improvement of the situation? My request, again, that let us not wait for somebody to come and improve for us the situation. Let us start. And if there's any, we will get us ahead or on the way. And we want to start from our own houses. I start with my small family, my wife, my children. If we have a peace and unity among ourselves, then we extend it to our neighbors, we extend it to our community and the entire society. Let us embrace peace, love and unity. We will overcome this situation.
Central Equatoria State Minister of Gender, Child and Social Welfare, Zendia Eluzai, joined persons with disabilities to share the joy of Christmas. Addressing the event, Minister Zendia expressed her commitment to promoting the rights of persons with disabilities. The chairperson of the Union of Persons with Disabilities, Rizik Awad, expressed gratitude to President Salva Kiir Mayardit for supporting the union.
People with disability, they just Amen. في ناس الإعاقة جديقة بنص النهار في كلام قبل قالوا لي التسمية ده يمكن ما كويس وإذا كان كمان دارين يغيروا لحاجة تانية حلو باللغة تانية كويس ما تنسوا إنه في حاجة اسمه دستور ويوجي نظامه. انتوا تحاول تدخلوا كان في تعديل بتاع الدستور الكلام ده طوال يخش.
أول مرة ممكن علينا نحتفل باجتهاد هنا بيوم بتاع ميلاد بتاع عيسى عليه السلام. لأنه من سنين الورا ما في حاجة عاصل كده. عشان كده أنا برجع شكر للرئيس بتاعنا سالفا كير مايرديت بشكل الوام الكبير لكل اتحادات أو يونس بتقاصر disability في ساوث السودان أو في سنتر إكواتوريا كله. لأنه أنا في physical disability ممكن لأول مرة أنا لقينا دعم من رئيس الجمهورية جاب لنا بقر قالتا أقعد مع عدد بتاعك وأكل مع الواحد ويتفلوا.
And finally, in sports, Gor Ayen FC has been crowned champion of the 12th edition of the Nimule Super League 2025 after a convincing 3-1 victory over Mangar Piol FC in the final played in Awil, North County, Northern Bahr El Ghazal State. Emmanuel Patrick brings us the following report.
Gor Ayen FC were crowned champions of the Nimule Super League 2025 after defeating Mangar Piol FC 3-1 at the Nimule Playground in Nimule Akok Village, Majagbai, Payam. The final attracted a large crowd and highlighted the growing popularity of grassroots football in Awil North County. Gor Ayen dominated the first half with God Deng opening the scoring before Tok at Lim Majok doubled the lead, sending the champions into halftime 2-0 ahead. In the second half, Deng the Bush sealed the win with a brilliant finish to make it 3-0. Mangar Piol FC pulled one back led through Aturujong and Gwai, who converted from the penalty spot, but the comeback came too late. The 3-1 victory secured Gor Ayen FC's second Manuel Super League title following their first triumph in 2021. Founded in 2014, the Manuel Super League, which featured 16 teams in the 2025 edition, continues to promote youth development, peace, unity, and social cohesion through sport in a Wilnot County. Speaking after the final whistle, the guest of honor Commissioner General of South Sudan Revenue Authority, William Anyon Kwol, said the tournament reflects youth unity and teamwork, which he described as key pillars for peace and development.
When we see youth that are committed doing such activities, it shows that our youth are united. And when youth are united, it means there is peace. And if there is peace, there is development. Because youth are the backbone of the country, and the youth are the people that are strong. So we are very happy to see this occasion. This occasion also, it shows economic activities. And when there is economic activities, South Sudan Revenue Authority is getting taxed. So we have seen now, buying us here, there is economic activities. There are people that are selling a lot of things. It is role and responsibility of South Sudan Revenue Authority and the State Revenue Authority and local government, the county authority, to make sure they collect tax here. Because people that are selling their things here, they have to sell, they get profit, and we have to get tax from here.
After the final match, individual awards were presented to outstanding performers of the tournament, sponsored by Win-Win Betting Company. Asholdut Mula of Abuk East FC was named Best Player. God Deng of Gor Ayen FC finished as top scorer. Ajo Ito won Best Goalkeeper, and Anthony Lian was recognized as Best Coach. Gor Ayen FC lifted trophy once again, confirming their dominance in the Manuel Super League. Reporting for SSBC from Manuel Playground, I'm Emmanuel Patrick Lacour, Northern Bahar El Ghazal.
And that's all we have in this news bulletin. Thank you for watching, and please continue with the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.